Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I'm Sam.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
Oh, my soda exploded.
Oh no!
Ugh. And today we'll be continuing our playthrough of Lufia II, Rise of the Sinistrals, covering up until we get our asses kicked by Gades and lent back to Parcelite Castle. But before we get to all of that, how is everyone's week?
Do you need to, attend to any spilled soda?
That's why y'all are going first.
Okay.
That's why. Not that we do that every week.
Yeah.
I had my first week at my new job, and it was really easy because there's not really work for me to do yet. I was just filling out paperwork and doing some online trainings and telling me to not harass people, which I wasn't planning on anyway. So, and also setting up my work devices, and we spent a full work day trying to get my computer to work. And in the end, we did not succeed, and they had to mail me an entirely new computer, and I'm going to have to mail back the original computer. So that's fun, but yeah. So I don't really have a feel for the new job yet because I haven't really done it yet.
Yeah, makes sense. On my end, biggest thing that happened the last week is after a year and a half-ish since buying a dishwasher, it is now actually installed and working, and we can use it and have been using it, and it's incredible. I didn't grow up with the dishwasher. I grew up hand washing dishes, but I did grew to rely on it when you have a 4-person household and everyone is at least a little disabled. Dishes pile up horribly.
Yes.
And literally, the fact that we have a dishwasher now and able to do that there's just a whole chunk of the counter space in the kitchen that's now free because there's not a billion dishes over there, which is great. What isn't great is that in order to get it installed, I believe I talked about this previously, we had to get an electrician to come in and rewire the foundational electronic shit in the house because it was unsafe, and the city inspector said it had to get fixed. So we had to get that done, which took 2 days of work. And the 2 days of work was happening basically entirely during the time I usually sleep, which really is fucked my sleep up. Common refrain for me, I know. It doesn't take a lot, but having people below me, a floor below me, hammering and drilling and yada yada yada, certainly puts a hamper on trying to get your Z's. So that's been rough, but the dishwasher's more than worth it, and I'm just trying to enjoy that. Other than that, I finished Nona the Ninth recently. That was nice. I'm still kind of got the Fire Emblem hyperfixation going.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically where I'm at. What about you, Sam?
So, I met someone.
Oh?
And it's been going incredibly well.
Delightful.
Yeah, so approximately a month ago on OkCupid, I did something very stupid that I don't recommend anyone ever do, but I paid for a super like because I used the free one that they give you every week. I had used it just because there's part of the app where you only can talk to these people if you give them a super like, because all dating apps are horrible and they prey on innocent people who just want to be loved. But so I had already used one, and then this person came across that I thought was the cutest person in the entire world, and I had just spent my super like, and I was like, you know what? Why not? And I paid money to a horrible corporation to get a super like to send it to this person, and then I heard nothing for 3 weeks because that sucks. But after 3 weeks, they actually messaged me back, and it was surreal the whole time because I felt like they were unattainably hot, and yet they were seemed to be super into me, and so we went and got some Culver's, and on the way there, we were like, oh, both of us are just looking for friendship. Things are going to just be friends. It'll be cool, no big deal. And then we both got there and saw how hot we each other were, and so we by the end of the night, we're like, can we like circle back on that just friends thing? And so that was so they messaged me back for the first time on the 22nd of February, which is just over 2 weeks ago, and we've had 5 dates. So things are going great. I'm having a grand old time.
Delightful. I'm so happy for you.
Mm-hmm. I also sat down to do one or two things I needed to do for Possum Boy today, and I ended up doing like 17 things that I needed to do for Possum Boy today. So that's coming along very nicely, and I hope this game can eventually come out.
I need the money now.
But yeah, other than that, I have been plugging away at Final Fantasy XIV, and I'm in the middle of Stormblood, and the character Alice is really pissed off that they're in Act 2 of a kind of meh expansion. And so there was a part where they were like, well, we need to help, we need to convince them the only way that we know how. And Alice is like, by doing a lot of mundane quests for the townspeople until they grow to like us. And I'm like, yep, that's the part of the game we're at. And then last night I was getting up to a primal fight, which is where you have 8 people against a giant boss. And in the story, we are like infiltrating a pirate stronghold in the middle of nowhere. And then suddenly there's a primal. And so Alice is like, well, main character, you go and do your thing, and I don't know, maybe you'll get lucky and 8 of your friends will be fishing nearby and can respond to your call and help you fight this. And it's very, very good, very funny. The expansion's okay. It's not great, it's not bad, but Alice is making the not so great parts even better, and that's fun. Yeah, that's all I did this week was go on dates and play Final Fantasy.
Delightful. I love that.
Oh, I forgot. There's one other thing I did this week. I played
What'd you do?
Lufia II, Rise of the Sinistrals. So how about let's listen to some music and then we'll talk about that.
Now that Guy has officially joined our quest, we head back to Southeast Tower so we can pass through and get to the next area. If we remember that there were treasure chests visible in the cutscenes at the top of the tower, we might go all the way back through the tower, solving all those puzzles again, so that we can go get the treasure. And luckily, the treasure is real good. So we do that, and then we arrive in the town of Clemento. We meet a woman running a shop that sells beautiful glassware. She says her husband makes the glassware, but he's off on a journey searching for glass crafting supplies. We also meet the scumbag landlord who owns every building in the city. His name is Roshi, and he immediately clocks us as adventurers. He asks us to go to North Cave and get the ruby apple rumored to be there, and he'll give us fabulous riches as a reward. While we're talking, Roshi's wife comes up and says the people at the glass shop are behind on their rent, so we should totally evict them. And Roshi's like, let's not talk about that in front of the guests. Anyway, go get the ruby apple.
Just, I had to send screen caps of this interaction to several people I know to be like, wow, I want everything bad to happen to this person. This is the true villain of the game.
The Sinistral of rent.
Sinistral of rent.
So I guess fabulous riches would be useful on our quest, which is the justification I'm giving for us doing this Ruby Apple quest. So we go to North Cave. We might also meet our next capsule monster there, and it's some sort of weird dog. And in the menus and in battle and stuff, we only ever see capsule monsters from the back. It's so weird. Like, you go into the menu to feed them and stuff, and you just see its backside, and it's like, this is so weird.
They only had enough room for one sprite.
I guess. We reach the bottom of the cave and see the ruby apple. Yay! But then a monster appears. Oh no! We kill its ass, but find the ruby apple got broken in the fighting. And guys, like, it's pretty weird that ruby would break so easily, right?
Mm-hmm.
We find Jaffe the glass craftsman in the next room of the cave. He says he's been hard up for cash, so he came to this cave looking for treasure, but he got captured by the monster. He says he wants to give us something as thanks for saving him, so he gives us the ruby apple? He says he found some lovely red glass, so he made this out of it. So I guess he doesn't blow the glass, he like carves it. And I tried Googling to see if carving glass was a thing, but I just got Minecraft stuff on the first page, so I gave up.
I mean, maybe he like melted it back down and re-blew it or something. I don't know.
I don't know how glass works.
Yeah, I wonder if this is supposed to be the same ruby as in the first game, and the trilogizer ROM guy didn't catch it and change it from apple into something else.
Well, it looks like an apple, though.
It does. So I would have maybe changed the Lufia one into an apple or something. I don't know. But I wonder if it's supposed to be that.
I don't think so. I think just they talk about rubies in these games.
This world just has a problem with fake glass rubies.
Jaffe says he made 2 of these things and sold one in the city. Tia produces the shards and says the treasure in this cave was the ruby apple. Jaffe says it's not ruby, just glass. He sold it to a rich guy Narcissus a long time ago. Maxim's like, well, this whole thing is weird, but let's go get the reward from Roshi. And I sort of didn't understand this whole plot line, so I looked up some stuff on it, and it sounds like the whole ruby apple subplot is not going to go anywhere. From what I gather.
From what I gathered as well, that is the case. It is bizarre, but I liked the fire cave dungeon. It had some fun puzzles.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So Tia doesn't like the idea of tricking Roshi with this fake ruby, but Maxim's like, fuck that scumbag, let's scam him. We return to Clemento and scam the scumbag. He gives us, quote, a lot of money. Tia still feels weird, but Maxim stops her from saying anything. Maxim leads the party to Jaffe's house and offers him the money. Jaffe says he can't possibly accept this, but Maxim says it was payment for the ruby apple he made anyway, and if he still feels weird about it, how about you sell me this glass ring for the sum? Jaffe agrees and the party steps outside. Tia is touched by Maxim's generosity. Maxim gives Tia the beautiful ring, and she's so pleased she does an acrobatic fucking pirouette off the handle.
It's so good. I love that little sprite work thing.
So now that we've finished this town's plotline, it's time to head to the next town. We arrive in the kingdom of Parcelite, where we see those 2 troublemakers from the attract mode bullying Lemmy again. Selan runs up and tells them off again. Selan and Lemmy have the same conversation that they started in the attract mode, even though this is clearly a different scene. Selan says some weird stuff about how a woman's tears mean more than a man's, so Lemmy shouldn't cry so easily, and I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, no, this is like... I'm really liking this game, but there's a lot of stuff like this that happens, and I'm just like, wow, this is just some of the worst gender commentary I've ever seen.
A lot of it, my reaction is just like, huh?
Yeah.
What?
I mean, like, I mean, what it's ultimately, like what that's referencing is the idea that in a lot of societies, at least a lot of, like, Western patriarchal societies, women's tears, especially white women's tears, are basically a tool of like, hey, pay attention, like, how dare you? I am putting pressure on you with my tears, and therefore it's considered a quote unquote woman's weapon, which is really fucked up and shitty. And
I didn't get that from this. What I got from this is the fact that Selan is the only woman at her rank in the army, and she's doing a "don't let them see you cry." They expect women to be weak, so you have to be extra tough, extra strong
See,
to prove yourself right.
I would agree, except it specifically is worded as like you need to save them for other time, like which makes I have heard that phrasing before in the case of looking.
She doesn't
at
say for other
tears.
times. She just says "save your tears." Understand? As in,
okay.
don't cry. Basically.
Oh, for some reason the wording there, it made me instead think of like a save it for specific
To
moments
weaponize it,
sort
yeah,
of thing.
no.
Yeah.
We need to learn Japanese and look at the original Japanese so we can settle this.
All right,
Clearly.
I'm on it. I started 15 years ago. Maybe I'll get it.
So Salon says she must get back to the castle. After exploring the town, we head to the castle where we see Salon training some soldiers. Turns out she's a badass warrior and a captain of the local army.
She's so good at swords. I can't believe we're going to have 3 awesome swords people on our team.
I know.
Yeah, right?
Guy talks about how strong and hot Salon is and asks Maxim to agree with him. And Tia is annoyed at Guy being real weird about this lady. We go speak to the king because that's what you do in a JRPG kingdom. The king realizes Maxim is the hero he's heard about, the one who's been going to random towns and solving their random problems, so apparently Maxim has built up a reputation. Sure enough, the king has a random problem for Maxim to solve. There's a treasure sword in the fortress to the north, and the king wants it, but there's monsters there. He'll give us a reward if we go get the sword, so I guess we're going to do that because, again, a reward would help us on our journey, I guess. And we don't have any leads, so we might as well do this and see if a lead comes up, which it does.
Yeah.
So
Maxim even says at some point later where that Iris didn't say, "Oh, you need to go fight so and so." Like, you need to go fight the red ball of light. So he's like, I don't know, if something's wrong, maybe it's the right thing that's wrong. And if you talk to more NPCs before you go to the king, it makes a little more sense of the people are having an issue and they lead you towards the king. But if you're just going cutscene to cutscene, it's very, very unconnected and funny.
the king calls for Selan and tells her to go with Maxim to retrieve the sword. Selan doesn't like the idea of getting these travelers to help with the task, but the king insists. The party makes introductions, and Selan makes it clear that she doesn't trust Maxim yet. In any case, we head off to the fortress, and Selan is in our party now, and you might think, since in the cutscene she's a badass sword warrior, she would be a badass sword warrior, but no, she has low HP and defense and casts magic mainly.
And fights with a rod. The sword was just for the cutscene.
Yeah. There are some sword-like weapons you can give her, but her sprite has a rod. And, I mean, they couldn't just make her a badass sword warrior because that's not what she was in the beginning of Lufia 1. And I like her being a badass sword warrior in the story, but it's funny that she's not that in the gameplay. Anyway, we solve some great puzzles at the North Fortress, and at the end of the fortress, 2 clowns appear. Oh no! We can only fight one of them at a time, and individually they're not hard, but once we kill one, it immediately reappears, just like a real clown. The party regroups, and Selan hypothesizes that they're one monster magically split in 2, and can only be defeated by killing both halves at the same time. The party agrees to split up. Selan wants to go on her own, but Maxim convinces her to take Guy with her. Now we fight one clown as Maxim and Tia, and the other as Guy and Selan. When you only have half your party, these clowns can actually be pretty tough.
Especially because I didn't know that the bosses were going to be fake, so I had used all of my TP like a minute ago, and so now I had nothing. And when Guy doesn't have full, I said TP. I don't know what it actually is. The
IP.
Force points. When he's out of those, he kind of doesn't have any options, and that made that half of the fight really, really hard.
Yeah. So we kill the clowns, and Maxim and Selan share a bro moment about being badass warriors who have only ever known fighting, then head off to the next room to grab the sword. And Guy can sort of tell that Tia is bothered by Maxim and Selan maybe having a thing developing, but Tia says she won't give up. We grab the sword and head back to the castle. The king says we may take the treasure in the basement, and I love to complete a JRPG quest and be granted permission to take the treasure in the castle basement.
Same.
But then a soldier rushes in and reports that someone demolished the neighboring city of Gordovan. Apparently it was one guy who somehow took out the entire city by himself. Selan says she'll go to Gordovan with her soldiers to investigate, but the king says the soldiers must stay in case the man should come here next. So Maxim says the party will go with Selan so the soldiers can protect Parcelite. Selan objects, but the king agrees to it. Selan asks Maxim why he's doing this, since this isn't even his own country. He says he wants to know about this man who destroyed the city. He briefly explains that a mysterious woman in a cave told him to fight evil, and we finally actually have a lead on this sort of thing, so Selan's like, okay. And we remember to head to the basement and claim our reward, which is an awesome piece of equipment for Tia or Selan. It's just one treasure chest in the basement. Usually when this sort of thing happens, there's like 5 to 10 treasure chests, and you get to open them all up, and it's really exciting. It's like Christmas morning. But now it's like Christmas morning as an adult where you get like one thing.
Yeah.
We head to Gordovan and find the city in ruins, though it seems like no one was killed in the attack. The townsfolk say that the man went towards the tower to the west after destroying the city. Someone also mentions a female traveler being kidnapped. We go to the tower and solve some puzzles. When we reach the top, a giant man appears. He says he doesn't recognize our party's energy, so we finally have a reference to energy in this game.
It's
We
what the
did
game
it.
has been missing.
He says he was disappointed that the town didn't put up any fight, but maybe we'll amuse him. He introduces himself as Gades, Master of Destruction and Attacks. Apparently it is possible to win this fight to get a sweet, like, sword or something, but you have to be like twice the level you'd naturally be at this point. But my understanding is that either way, after the fight, the party is like dead on the ground and Gades warps away. Iris enters and heals everyone. Maxim tells everyone who Iris is, and Iris says Selan and Guy also have the power to resist the evil light and are destined to fight alongside Maxim. And Tia is also standing there.
Yeah. It's like this really awkward, yes, you too, you have the power to do this thing. And just other person
Staring
standing
right past Tia.
there in the middle distance.
Yes.
I'm imagining almost like an office stare.
Iris starts to leave, and Maxim asks why she's traveling. Iris just says she's looking for answers, and then she heads out. Selan's like, we better go report all this to the king. Maxim, Guy, and Selan make to leave, but notice that Tia's distracted. She insists she was just thinking about something, and follows along, and no one's like, is it about the fact that you got weirdly left out back there? Everyone just sort of like, let's not mention it. It's weird. So we head back to Parcelite and tell the king what happened. The king says they must do something about Gades. Selan says she'll go searching for him, alone, of course. Before we can tell her that's stupid, a soldier rushes in to tell Guy that a messenger arrived saying that Hilda's condition has worsened. Maxim tells Guy to go back right away. Guy's conflicted, but Maxim says it's more important that Guy go be with Hilda right now. Maxim requests that Selan team up with them in searching for Gades. The king agrees to this, and Guy leaves for Tanbel. Maxim asks Selan if she's joining them just because the king told her to. She says it's not just that. She also is curious about what Iris said, and she has to face Gades again for the sake of her pride. Selan has officially joined the party. She says they should go back to the tower outside Gordovan and head through it to get to the city of Merix. Why do people in Lufia world always build huge towers on every isthmus, blocking passage on foot? Find out next time.
Mim Moms, what do you guys got?
In the brief stuff we got of her in Lufia 1, Selan just seemed like frail damsel in distress who is part of the party
Yeah.
But so I like this characterization of her, and I like that you know, she doesn't trust Maxim right away and stuff. I like her character so far.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. She's neat. I appreciate the reoccurring joke of being like, "Oh, so you do trust us now?" Not really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you guys have to look up the block puzzles?
No.
I had to from the second and third ones.
Yeah, I got.
Mostly just because the diagonal bits. I
Yeah,
didn't think it worked diagonally.
yeah. If I figure if I would have known about diagonals, I could have gotten to it. But
It
no,
was it was a fun one. I was actually gonna say, like, I enjoyed all these dungeons a lot. I
Mhm,
think the tower with the treasure sword is probably my favorite. Like, it's
mhm,
got so many neat puzzles. And I love a good dungeon that unlocks something like the elevator, where it then
mhm.
becomes oh, there's so much stuff you can backtrack to now. Delightful.
Only thing I didn't like about that one, but it was okay because after I fell for it the first time, I had save states. But there's one puzzle where if you mess up, you fall through the floor, but you only could get there by using the elevator. So to get back, you have to go the long way around because now you don't have the elevator anymore. And it was the hookshot puzzle with the pillars in that room, and that was annoying when I fell through there. But the rest of the time, it was very good. I really really liked it.
When did we get the hook shot? Did we get the hook shot this week and I forgot to mention it?
Yeah,
Yes,
we
we got
did.
it. We got it in the tower.
Oh man, I love the hook shot. It works like a
Hookshot's a
hook
fun
shot.
weapon. Yeah.
One thing I especially like about the hookshot is it just like the Zelda hookshot can stand in for arrows in a pinch. So I can be doing puzzles and then use the utility of stunning an enemy and stuff without having to press select and press over and then press A, and then it seems like it's not working, so you press A again, and then it still seems it's not working, so you press A right as it finally closes. You know,
Yes.
the tool menu.
The tool menu takes time. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, on the subject of capsule monsters, there was a new one to get in what we played through this time. Did either of you get our fire dog?
Yes.
The is he Fire Dog?
Armored dog, I
Armor
think, is
Dog.
what he's called.
Armor dog. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, please.
Yeah, I think he becomes a Fire Dog as his second level up, which I don't
Yeah,
have.
well, he becomes a manticore.
Yeah, I evolved him and he became a manticore.
That's dope. I still
It's
have not
very dope.
involved either of them because they're asking for things that I can buy in stores at the beginning of the game, but I don't remember where any of those are, and I don't feel like going to every item shop to find the things. So,
I did that and it was
I did that
annoying
too.
and time consuming, but I did see like, oh, they want a robe. Let me warp to 3 different towns looking for a robe.
Yeah, same. I did the exact same thing. Eventually, though, they will start asking for things. Like right now, my manticore is stuck on asking for a death ball, and I'm like, where the
That doesn't sound
fuck?
healthy.
It's a death ball. Where is this? Oh, it's they've asked also for like fire, like anything with like the little orb shaped symbol. Whenever they've asked for it, I'm like, is this like a thing you get from certain random drops? I've checked every store and I haven't seen these.
I played a little ahead and I think I encountered a store that sold fireballs and ice balls.
Okay, well, I need to get to that store so I can get this thing to level up more.
Yeah, they start asking for fireballs and ice balls and stuff a lot. And I'm like, I don't have those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I will say, like, regardless of how you interpret the whole tiers thing, I think a lot of this, I'm really loving this game. It is such a blast to play every week. It is a little frustrating that in the way that like we do have much more like cutscene and story than the last game did,
mhm,
by like an order of magnitude, but so much of it is this very like, oh, the guys are talking about girls, or oh,
mhm.
girls, you know, it's just constantly gendered in a way that frustrates me.
Yeah, it's very of its time in that way. I feel everything was needlessly gendered back in the day.
Agreed. I mean, I agree. It's just it feels like that's the most common topic, and there's not a lot of other things that they talk about. So where, that's very a thing of its time. I still can't think of another game that talked about it this often or brought it up as a reoccurring focus so much. Not to say that there aren't, but it's just what is sticking out to me right now. I'm also I am very intrigued by the whole oh yeah, we started Tia is one of our starting party members. She's not one of the legendary heroes, and
Yeah.
and we keep getting three of you four are prophesied to one day do this thing, and it's just what about her? And I am just left being God, what about her? And I'm left looking back the beginning part of Lufia 1, and I'm didn't I remember there being this thing about at the start of the game as you're going through, what feels like should be the end of this game. There being this oh, the Maxim having a relationship with this woman, and in my brain, because of the beginning of this game, I thought it was Tia, but I'm but she wasn't one of the four heroes.
Yeah, Maxim and Selan reference their child in the beginning of Lufia 1, so
yeah,
I feel bad for Tia. She doesn't get to be a legendary hero.
I know.
Apparently.
I feel so bad for her.
Maybe she'll secretly end up being the most important character. That would be cool.
That would be great. I'd love that. And Guy just exists, and he has a girlfriend somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that Guy is temporarily leaving our party.
Oh, same. I think that's a fun little thing to have happen.
I remember finding Bravely Default annoying in the everything is gendered way. It just felt like they couldn't conceive of men and women interacting in any other context.
That is entirely fair.
It just got boring.
It has been ages since I played that game, and I
Me
don't
too, and I might be
that,
misremembering it.
But I wouldn't disagree with you.
It might have been 3 scenes that really annoyed me, and then I remembered it as being constant. But
yeah, no, I mean, I don't know what you mean. I've never done that in my life. That's never a way I interact with media I enjoy. What was I gonna say? Oh, just when I think about Bravely Default, what I most remember is just wow, there's some really great concepts here. I wish they'd been executed a little bit better and not in a way that felt repetitive.
I think Bravely Default 2 is a lot better than Bravely Default 1.
I want to play... Okay, here's a question. Are you talking about Bravely Default 2 or Bravely Second?
I'm talking about the video game called Bravely Default 2.
Okay, thank you.
I've not played Bravely Second.
The fact that that is a question I have to ask because those are two completely separate sequels to Bravely Default is... JRPGs are known for their stupid numbering and naming conventions, but that's still pretty beyond the pale.
I just want Bravely Second 2 now, so we can get more of Bravely Default 2. And I could just keep doing it that way, and it'd be stupid.
Wouldn't it be... Yeah, I guess it would be called Bravely Second 2. If it were a direct sequel to Bravely Default 2. God.
I'm trying to think of anything else to talk about with Lufia, but I think that's basically it.
Yeah, the only thing I have to add is while I was pulling stuff up earlier, I saw this game facts thread called "No offense, but why is Lufia 2 so overrated?" And so
title.
So he has lists bullet points on why this game is overrated, and he says nothing screams Dragon Quest clone more loudly than this game does.
Have you played Lufia 1?
Have you played almost anything? This game definitely has Dragon Quest vibes, but in almost just vibes way. Gameplay has I mean, it's round based, so maybe that counts, but almost nothing else is like Dragon Quest at all.
There are a lot of Dragon Quest clones.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They also say The interactive puzzles and lack of random battles and dungeons were somewhat innovative for the time, but still nothing all that incredible. Yeah, it was innovative for the time. That's why it's considered good. It's because at the time no one was doing this shit. It's so stupid. And then the main thing that he says is the worst part about it is that you have a static party like in the first 5 Final Fantasy games. You can't switch characters in and out. Therefore, it's not as good as other games.
Oh no. Something did something different from Final Fantasy? How terrible. That's the end of the world.
The first comment underneath it says the ancient cave. That's it.
I wonder when we're going to get to the ancient cave.
I that's a good question.
I don't know. It's probably way too late because I want it right now.
You want the ancient cave right now? You want that sweet optional puzzle or optional dungeon fun?
Yeah. Like when I first heard about the ancient cave, my game designer brain started going crazy, and I was like, this should have been in the title screen, where it's like, oh, do you want to play the game? Go play the game. Do you want to just start up a randomizer of the ancient cave? Go for it. And yeah, I'm excited to do it. Probably 1 or 2 times because I don't repeat content in video games very much at all. But that will do it for the week. If you like what you heard today, you can head on over to www.rpgbook.club where you can donate to help support us. If you do, you'll get some extra benefits. At $1 a month, the Gadabout tier gets access to our bonus feed where we have after shows for every episode, as well as bonus seasons of the show that are backer only. At $5 a month, the Warrior tier gets the above, but I also read their names at the end of every episode, kind of like this. Shoutouts to Frosthair, Dragonslayer19, Kaledranas, Freddy Rodriguez, Aaron524, and JFro Prime. And then at $20 a month, the Luminary tier gets all of the above, plus a 1-sentence shout out to whatever it is they're passionate about. Shoutouts to El Tantavi, who wants you to check out Aftermath.site, a worker-owned, reader-supported news site covering video games, the internet, and the cultures that surround them. Shoutouts to Vimke, who says, Gideon peered down at the bottom where shadows gathered over the cold white doors of Castle Deirdre, stately in the dirt, set into rock 3 bodies wide and 6 bodies tall. And It's Clear Time says, for you TTRPG nerds, check out Fabula Ultima. I'm not affiliated with the game. I just think it's neat. For RPG Book Club, I've been Sam.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
Toodaloo, folks.
Bye-bye.